eRadio Live, powered by TCS Wi-Fi.
It is time for Tech Thursday right here on eRadio Live, and as always, on a Thursday between 3 and 4, we recap the week's biggest tech stories. I am joined by Kaine, as always, this afternoon. Hello, Kaine, how's it?
Hey, Eon, how's it going? Fantastic Wednesday to get into some... it's Thursday. Fantastic Thursday to get into some tech.
Are you delayed?
I'm still living yesterday, it's one of those weeks.
I personally think you party too much because it was somebody's birthday this week, you see.
Oh, who is it? I don't know. I can't think of him.
Well, anyway, I hope you had a great birthday, Kaine. That was on Monday, right? I really hope, I obviously sent you a message, but I hope you had a good birthday.
I had a great birthday, thank you. Thank you. I had a really good birthday. I preferred last year because it fell on a Sunday. It's not every year that your birthday starts at the beginning of a week.
Yeah, but, that's not cool.
We freshened it up. It's been like that happened.
Yeah, yeah, but I don't like birthdays on a Sunday. No, that's just too chilled for me. Mondays-ish, no, not when work's starting. Maybe Wednesday, and from there on, Thursday, Friday is perfect, and Saturday birthdays are the best. Let's be honest, Saturday birthdays are the best.
I think Saturday is the best. I mean, it's like your party night. There's the day before that where you went to sleep knowing that you're waking up and there's no work, and now you get to go to sleep knowing there's no work the next day. It's
exactly. You don't want to wake up on a Monday and it's your birthday. You're a year older and you've got a million things to do, and your phone's ringing off the hook. Okay, now Kaine, for Tech Thursday today, just before we get going, it is time to give a word of thanks to our sponsor, and our sponsor today is the Gum Phone. Now you can finally give those arms a rest and just let your mouth hold your phone for you. No, really, it is an actual device, okay? The Gum Phone is a device that you can download and you can print it via a 3D printer for free. And it will hold your phone for you by using the muscles of your jaw. How freaking fantastic.
That is next level. I mean, we've spoken about a lot of tech advancements, but I don't think we've quite touched on such a massive influence to the market today.
I really would like to just hold my phone in my hands. My jaw, no. Come on, you can't even eat while you're texting. That's awful.
Let this day be known as the day that Apple AirPods just went into discontinued status. There's just no more AirPods. It's just the gum. It's the gum.
The Gum Phone.
Do you want to hear something super interesting on that note?
Of course.
I never knew this, but this last week, I actually came across a interesting study where they had a look at the difference between using your phone, like answering a call on your phone while it's on charge, and not using your phone while it's on charge. And an interesting study was that some phones, when on charge and you're using it, you actually conduct the electrical signal which is coming from the wall to your phone, and you're actually conducting electricity to your body. Your body becomes charged. And I don't imagine that can be good for you, so I'm not going to be doing that anymore.
Oh, well, Kaine, thank you so much for saying that. You know what? It's probably a reason why those phone charger cords are so short.
Yeah, absolutely, so that you can't do that. It shouldn't actually reach to the side of your bed.
Yeah, but you know what? In the past, listen, people are not stopping, In the past, you've had people plugging in leads outside the bathroom, taking that lead into the bathroom with them, extension cords, and then plugging the phone in, and then using it while they're in the bath. And then, sometimes you get that case where that phone drops in the bath, and then good night.
Good night. Your tickets. Just take. Do not pass go. Do not collect 20,000.
No.
Done.
So please don't. Oh my gosh, no.
The way that they tested it, they used a electrician's. I don't know what the device is called, to be quite honest, but you use it to test for electric cables behind walls and stuff like that. So you put the device next to the wall, and put the cable behind it, goes beep, And they saw that if you had your phone plugged in against your ear, you were talking on the phone. If you put that same electrical detector against your leg or your arm, it beeps just the same as if you put it against the cable. But if you disconnect the phone, you do the same thing. No detection. Very interesting.
So are you saying that if I'm charging my phone and I'm speaking on my phone, I'm not only charging my phone, I'm charging myself as well?
Yes, you're almost at full charge after 20 minutes.
Okay, I'm going to try that on Mondays because I really need a push on Monday mornings. I'll let you know how it works.
That's hilarious.
Yes, very interesting. Kaine, now, one of the things we're looking at today is just some of the most common passwords that people have. Now, I don't know, you probably also have friends that you see them and they type in their passwords and you're like, excuse me, is that your password? That can't be a password, that's not safe. But according to HuffPost, the 20 most common passwords found on the internet, and I'm just going to mention a few of them. What do you think will be the most common one, Kaine?
We used to have a saying when we were younger, and I think a lot of tech fundies will still say it. There's a type of keyboard that you can get. It's called a QWERTY keyboard, and that's because it has QWERTY.
Yes.
And I can imagine that might be a keyword that is used often, or the other way around, so YTREWQ instead of QWERTY.
You're not
backwards,
too
obviously.
far off. It seems to be number 7 or 8 on the list. QWERTY 1. That's not too far off. But, yes. But, the most common one used by people is, wait for it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Wow.
That is, I can't believe people use that. Mind
Come
you, that's
on.
one of my passwords, I think, to get a new phone.
No! The second one, I'm just going to go mention a few. The second one is password. So your password is password. I've seen that before. The other one, password 1. Then there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. QWERTY 1, 2, 3 is another one. Then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 secret. That's an interesting one. And ABC 1, 2, 3. And then 6 ones. Strat 4, lemonfish. Why? Lemonfish. Okay. Sunshine is another one.
From even?
I don't know. Sunshine is another one. Then there's also 1, 2, 3. No. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And then there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 0. And then password 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. People tuning in right now are probably thinking that I'm going completely insane.
They're like, is this even English?
Yes, but interesting. So that's the 20 most, we almost did all 20 most common passwords found on the internet, and that was during the past year. So, very, very interesting, Kaine.
Well, I would save that list, and the next time I get to a Wi-Fi hotspot and I don't know the password, I'm going to just go through this list. I mean, the odds are in my favor.
Out of all the passwords, eh?
Moving on.
Yes.
We now have some interesting stuff. So last week and the week before, and I think even the week before, we've been following the Perseverance rover, which was, that departed from Earth 6 months later, got into Mars's orbit, and then landed on Mars. Now, when that video footage was released, some internet fundies actually noticed that there was something interesting on the Mars Perseverance rover's parachute as it was descending. And it only took the internet 6 hours to pick up on this, but NASA hid a secret message on the parachute, which was colored patterns. So if you go online and you have a look at it, you'll notice that it's very it's line-based patterns. So you got like little red lines in a row, and then some black, and then some white. And it looks very much like a strange pattern. I wouldn't look at it and say, right, that's a secret code. But what it is, it's a secret inscription which reads out "Dare Mighty Things," which was a motto used by the Perseverance team at NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory in California, which serves as mission control. So they put a little secret message right into the parachute there. How cool is that? A little Easter egg.
Yes, a little Easter egg, yeah. And then once you see it, you can't unsee it. That's so cool. I obviously didn't see that. Wow.
And the other thing that they said is the rover might even be hiding other secret messages. In addition, the team, in addition to the team motto on the parachute, Shen told The Verge, people can't resist putting a little personal touch in their work, but the vast majority of these will never be known, even by me. So people have put some little personal finesse on the work which went up in the up with the mission.
Yes.
And anyone who's paying attention might actually pick up on those Easter eggs.
I like that. That's so cool. Yeah, nice Easter eggs, as you say.
Absolutely. I think, the most interesting thing for me about that is if I found myself in a position where I was working on such a project, how cool would it be to have the opportunity to think of an Easter egg like this? And imagine the person that put that Easter egg on the parachute. The internet is so woke. People underestimate the power of a driven community like we see here. I mean, they solved it in under 6 hours. I wasn't even looking for it. You know what I mean? It's insane.
That is really insane,
And when we look at other initiatives that use these community-driven, tools, like we see, this isn't necessarily a community-driven tool, but it's where we see how communities working together, or at least being publicly making public statements and bringing the word around can create this atmosphere where people jump in and they work together, and it's all public, open source, and everyone's trying to do their part. And I know that NASA has a lot of opportunities available for people, for communities to go and sign up. And they can do things like, go through astronomy data, and they can try and contribute to that data and try help people find findings and things like that, because not everything can be done by a hired team. So if you're interested in these kind of things, finding Easter eggs or working together on an open source basis to make massive discoveries, how cool would that be, right?
Mind-blowing stuff, Kaine. Tech Thursday is back right after this.
Get the eRadio SA app right now for free on the Google Play Store. Entertainment radio on the go.
And we're back on Tech Thursday right here on eRadio Live. And Kaine?
Oh, so good. That song was one of my favorites, to be honest.
Now, what... Okay, so the next thing that we're going to talk about here on Tech Thursday today on eRadio Live is Elon Musk. We spoke about space before the break, and when you talk about space, Elon Musk immediately pops into your head. How hectic was that story of him losing $15 billion over just 24 hours, largely thanks to his own tweets?
You know what it makes me think? It helps me come to this realization that we're quick to say, wow, look at Jeff Bezos, number one richest man, and now look at Elon Musk taking over Jeff Bezos as world's richest man, and then in 24 hours loses $15 billion, more than most people will make in 15 lifetimes.
Exactly.
And he's down to number 3. I'm not sure if he's number 3, he might be number 2. But the volatility of the wealth, I think, is very important. Although you people say this person is worth $115 billion, for someone like Elon Musk, a large portion of that is going to be hedged directly into SpaceX. And then another large portion of that is going to be hedged directly into Tesla. And another portion of that is going to be hedged directly into Neuralink. That's how when those 3 businesses are doing well, he's very, very wealthy. But in the event that something goes bad, we remember the Joe Rogan podcast where Elon Musk smoked weed on the podcast, and now obviously making his tweet about Bitcoin, and subsequently making more tweets about Dogecoin, which is kind of the Joe cryptocurrency, but it can influence someone's net worth so very quickly based on what your investors and your shareholders believe. And I think this is a prime example of one, how quickly things can change, and 2, how little Elon Musk cares.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think he really cares. I mean, he's still got $183 billion in the bank. So losing a little bit of small change there, aka 15 billion, won't be too much for him.
We also don't see what came before that. Remember, because he sold PayPal, and I don't know the exact amount, but I'm pretty sure it was for about 300 million. Sure. And then he took that, divided it into three, and put it into three of his businesses, and that was his risk. That there was news about that risk that he had taken, and it paid off. So he's someone who's sitting in a position now where he took everything that he had and put it into three things, and he became the world's richest man, and then he went to the second world's richest man, just playing around. He doesn't mind. This guy took risk. He's at the top. He came from the bottom. Now he's here. He doesn't mind if he's like a little bit less from the top.
Yeah.
He's definitely an inspiration, I'd say, to some young entrepreneurs. That if you have a great idea, believe in it.
Imagine just maybe he was just a little bit bored, and then he sent out that tweet, and he was having a bit of fun. Imagine just how many characters do you get on Twitter nowadays? Is it 160?
Yeah, it is.
So,
I think it's 200. No, it's 180. I think.
Okay, so it went up. Okay, I'm not tweeting
or
anymore.
255.
Okay, 180 or whatever characters, and all of a sudden you lose $15 billion, and your net worth drops by 7%, and your company's shares, Tesla, the shares slide by 8.6%. So he lost 220 billion South African rands in just 24 hours. We could have fixed Eskom with that, damn it.
Oh yeah, no, we could have just literally just one young pink slip, and there we go. We're back in action. But I think also for Elon Musk's recent, he made a tweet about Bitcoin, and they went out and they bought 1.5 billion worth of Bitcoin. And if the same action had taken place in 2017 when Bitcoin pumped to $20,000, the reality is he would have been in a bear market for a year, where that 1.5 billion that Tesla invested was, a tenth of the value, or half of the value. But that being said, looking at the past today, you can see that we're ebbing past, between $40,000 and $50,000. In 2017, even though he would have made a bad decision he would have been observed as making a bad decision for a year straight, sitting here today, he would be significantly wealthier thanks to that decision. And not him, but Tesla. So looking at his decision now to buy $1.5 billion worth of Bitcoin, I think he justifies that decision, saying even if it were to down for 2 years, 3 years, Bitcoin has the potential to go to 100,000, even $1 million. It was a ballsy risk that he took, but if it works out, you won't be sitting here talking about how he, lost 20% of Tesla shares, the value of Tesla. If you wouldn't be talking about that dump. You'd be talking about how incredibly smart he was for putting his money in now. It's very interesting to think, what angle is he looking at right now? Is he looking 2-3 years in the future? Will he see something happening in the next 3 to 6 months? I don't know. It's an interesting question.
Who knows what's going on inside that mastermind, that brilliant mind of Elon Musk. Back in South Africa, WhatsApp is confirming that their privacy policy will go into effect starting on the 15th of May. And in an email obtained by TechCrunch, originally sent to one of WhatsApp's merchant partners, WhatsApp stated that those who do not accept those changes by the 15th of May will not be able to read or send messages from the app, but for a short time they will still be able to receive calls and notifications. So we don't know how long that short time is going to be, but eventually it will fall away, of course, leaving WhatsApp completely useless. So here we go, Kaine. We are still forced to accept it.
Well, do you remember those chain messages that used to go around? They still probably do. That says, you got to be active. Send this message to 15 people so your WhatsApp icon turns blue and you can keep using WhatsApp.
That's just
okay.
That's
people have been exposed to that a lot.
Yes,
I know, it's such trash. And the reality of the situation is, people have, number one, become very aware of it, in the sense that when it first happened, people fretted. They went and sent that message out. They looked at the color of the WhatsApp icon. Maybe even the second or third time, the scam message got even better and made you fear missing out even more, or have fear, uncertainty, and doubt even more. And you would have gone and sent the message. But now there's this resilience that has been curated, and now here comes WhatsApp, and they're like, you better accept our privacy policy, or you won't be able to use WhatsApp anymore.
Yes.
And when someone says that to me, I say, okay, no, it's fine. I won't even accept your privacy. I would have accepted your privacy policy anyway, because I wouldn't even have thought about it. But because you say I can't use your software because I don't accept it, I don't mind moving to a different communication platform.
Yeah.
Signal might take me one message to send a SMS to someone to say download Signal so we can communicate. That person might have Telegram, that person might have Dust, that person might have another messenger that we haven't seen enter the market yet. There's options available. We don't need to use WhatsApp. WhatsApp worked in the beginning because it was a Mix-It on steroids. It was like Mix-It working properly.
Yeah.
And you could use your internet to send messages. We've well past that stage now, and we're not interested in giving up personal, at least me, I'm not interested in giving up personal information so that I can continue to use something where there are alternatives available, already safer, more secure, and more technologically advanced. It's not for me, but I don't know how other people are going to feel about it. I think it has a lot to do with both parties in the conversation. You can't say, I'm not going to use WhatsApp, and then your mom decides I'm still going to use WhatsApp, and then you try and continue a communication through WhatsApp. It's going to be a hard transition.
Yeah, gosh, who knows how that's going to pan out. But apparently, you need to accept it before, or you still have a few days after. That's the 15th of May, and then it looks like they'll just delete your account if you obviously don't accept the update come May 15th. I wonder what's happening in Mark Zuckerberg and all those people's heads at WhatsApp and Facebook. They're obviously working with a plan. You don't just do these things for no reason, right?
I think it's a very calm facade that is put on. I think what is actually happening in that boardroom, it's like the whole boardroom is suspended on very, very thin ice, and there's just ice in every direction, but now they got to walk from the center of this very thin ice to the safe land. Because if we remember correctly, WhatsApp was purchased by Facebook for a very large sum of money, and WhatsApp is still yet to find a way to generate a profit.
Yeah.
So this is kind of WhatsApp's only way to generate a profit, and Facebook is coming at it saying, we know how to make money on Facebook. Know the person using the app and get advertising relevant to that person in front of them, and have them commit to an action that has real benefit to the advertiser. That's how they're good at making money like that. They've got a very good advertising platform set up already that utilizes Facebook and Instagram, and now they need to commercialize WhatsApp. So it's a very hard ball for them, because if this privacy policy isn't accepted and they don't gain access to that aggregated user data, and they can't facilitate advertising or some sort of revenue, they're going to have to close down support for WhatsApp, or at the very least try and take another route to earning money. And I don't know how many other routes they've already taken. I think this, and I'm gonna take a risk, and I'm gonna say I think this is one of their final cards, one of their last little tricks up their sleeve in order to turn a profit. Because if you ask me what a strategic business decision is, it's not to go forward with a plan that has already shown such negative feedback. It's shown such negative feedback, and they're still going forward with it, but they're trying to slightly deviate the approach.
Yeah.
I don't know what's happening, but it seems rocky.
Yeah, no, Kaine, you're absolutely right. And you know what's really keeping me up at night is, I saw that somewhere, the thought of our government, the South African government, demanding to speak to Mark Zuckerberg. I don't know if you saw that story, but they are now demanding to speak to Mark Zuckerberg. Now, can you imagine that conversation?
I even read somewhere else that they were literally, they said, if if your government, like we saw obviously a lot of stuff with Cambridge Analytica that happened back 2016 to 2018, where Mark Zuckerberg was in court and testifying in court. If the government doesn't even know what Facebook does with their data and what WhatsApp will eventually do with their data, if they don't know what they're doing, they're trying to find out and they still don't have answers, that's suspicious. I'm just saying, that's a bit weird, you know? It's weird that even governments are stepping up and saying, look, we don't actually feel comfortable with the way that you're approaching a service being delivered to our population. We don't trust, or we don't necessarily feel that we can immediately trust that your actions are genuine, and we want to communicate with you in order to determine if they aren't, or how we can benefit with you. It's a pool of trouble no matter where you step. So I don't know what everybody else is going to do. We have to ask ourselves, you know, especially some of the older generation. I'm 23 now, just turned 24, but there are people out there between 50 and 70 that are just not going to easily acclimatize to using something like Signal or using something like Telegram. They're just there to get their message to their loved one or their friend or their family. They're maybe not as at risk, and I'm going to say that with as much sincerity as possible, because your data is valuable, but for a younger generation, people who are between 20 and 30, just thinking very carefully, you're basically gaining data about me at 24. You're going to continue to collect data about me for the next 5 to 10 to 15 years. And your idea of me and people that are similar to me is going to become much, much clearer. And the way that you can use my data and use what you know about me, you're going to be able to use with more leverage, in the sense that, look at TikTok. TikTok's algorithm is very well adjusted to keeping you right at the top of your screen. It picks up what one you're interested in and suggests stuff based off what your interests are. And based off of those suggestions, you are then interested in the content and you keep scrolling. You don't navigate away. You don't go to another app. You don't go stand up and take a swim. If they know more about you, especially the younger generation, they're going to be more adept to keeping you locked into your screen. That's how they make money. The longer you're there, the more money they make. If it's a game of money, that's how they're going to play it. So for the younger generation, I would be more cautious. I would ask myself, do I want to be giving my data away? Is it going to have a negative effect on me? Do I feel like I have enough self-discipline to say no to the things that I'm constantly picking up on my phone? Because if you feel like you're slightly addicted to any social media platform, it's only going to get worse the more they know about you. So it's a good question to ask, and it's going to be interesting to see how different demographics deal with the issue.
Well, I hope our government will be sending you to speak to Mark Zuckerberg, because we don't want any of those circus things happening again, like it usually does when we have Parliament. Imagine we have a Parliament scenario with Juju speaking to Mark Zuckerberg. I would pay to see that, I'm telling you. Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah, no, I'd be right at the front of my seat watching that.
That would be brilliant. When we come back, Kaine, what have you got for us when we come back?
When we come back, we're going to talk about something I found very interesting, and that's a 42,000-year-old tree helped us understand Earth's last magnetic field reversal, and what is a magnetic field reversal and what does it mean for people if
very interesting.
Our magnetic field reverses.
Right, we'll talk about that after these.
Your systems are offline.
eRadio Live, powered by TCS Wi-Fi.
And we're back on Tech Thursday right here on eRadio Live, and Kaine is up first with his story. Kaine, what you got?
So this is something that I find very, very interesting. So obviously, for those who aren't familiar with it, Earth has a magnetic field, and this magnetic field is responsible for anywhere from 40 to 60% of the solar radiation protection that we have each and every day. And that magnetic field exists because of the heavy metal elements that are at a molten state at the center of the Earth. And while the Earth rotates around the sun, that generates some kind of energy, and that energy creates a magnetic field around the Earth. And that magnetic field obviously is playing a very important role in keeping us safe. If it wasn't there, we'd get sterile very quickly, in under 15 minutes, I believe. And, we wouldn't be able to procreate, and obviously radiation is no fun to play with. So magnetic field, in very layman's terms, very important. So we've made some discoveries regarding the magnetic field of Earth, and we know that our Earth's magnetic field to have two poles, South Pole and North Pole. And we have an actual South Pole and North Pole as well, but the magnetic field, which has a South and a North, is slightly adjacent from our primary North Pole and primary South Pole physically, but they both are two unique things. The top of what we call Earth would be Antarctica, and that would be a pole, and the bottom of Earth the same thing. So we've done some looking into New Zealand trees that can grow very, very large, can have diameters of over 3 meters, so a tree that is greater than 3 meters in diameter, and can grow older than 2,000, 3,000 years. Although trees older than 1,700 years are much more rare now. And what's happened is some of these trees got preserved in a swamp-like environment, and we've come across these trees. And about 42,000 years ago, the magnetic North Pole moved south. Within this process, which lasted about 500 years, the magnetic field weakened to between 6 and 0% of what it is now. And as I said, without any magnetic field, we're in a lot of trouble. And during a period of about 500 years, the poles remained reversed, with a field strength that varied below 28% of today's value, only to reverse again over the course of about 250 years. So at some point in time previously, our magnetic poles switched and they reversed. And Earth has had, I bet you didn't know this, but Earth has had more than 2 poles. So we didn't just have a North and a South Pole. We've had up to 8 different poles. But the problem with those poles is they fight each other. So a North and a South Pole, 2 poles, very, very strong magnetic field. And that field is very resilient to volatility in its strength. But when you have multiple poles, those poles end up fighting each other. The magnetic fields are fighting each other. So the overall strength of the Earth's magnetic field during such a stage would be significantly weaker. And obviously, when poles are shifting, like they mentioned, over 500 years, the poles weakened. It's because during a magnetic pole shift, the magnetic field weakens a lot. So the exact analysis and dating of the events was only made possible by radiocarbon analysis of the subfossil Kori tree that grew in the wetlands in northern New Zealand for about 1,700 years during the period in question. So the main authors of the study put forward even more far-reaching hypotheses about the effect of the Earth's magnetic field reversal. For example, with regard to the extinction of the Neanderthals or the onset of cave painting. So let me put it in this way. If 42,000 years ago, the magnetic poles were to have reversed and we had no magnetic field protecting us, everything that wasn't in a cave or wasn't protected from solar radiation would go sterile and unfortunately die. So at some stage in human evolution, Neanderthals ceased to exist, and some of the other sapien type subspecies, so different versions of humans basically, they all went mysteriously extinct. And that's when we started seeing a lot of cave paintings coming into play. So here's the very interesting thing. If the magnetic field was to have reversed 42,000 years ago, man would have had to move into caves. And the old saying is we came from caves. So whether we were there before, something happened, something bad happened, and we had to move into caves, that's a very interesting question. There's a lot of other things that happened in history which is very hard to explain. In Africa, Egypt, for example, the pyramid, all these things happening, there could have been a much more evolved ecosystem on Earth 42,000 years ago that became extinct thanks to a magnetic field reversal. And thanks to some of the new technology that we're developing, we're building tools to help us better understand this. Because the honest truth is, if our magnetic field was to reverse again now, it would be a very, very hard time for human beings to survive on Earth, especially without the precious protection against radiation. So as much as this is a dive into history, it's a very important moment for the future in being able to prevent and manage anything like that happening again. Very interesting.
Wow, Kaine, that is incredibly interesting. I'm just sitting here and listening to it and kind of taking it all in, Well, hoping it goes in. It's a lot of information. Very, very, very interesting indeed.
It is.
And then in closing, gosh, we're running out of time here on Tech Thursday today. In closing, I see Rain, that's the cell phone data provider, cell phone network. They inform their subscribers that their personal information may have been accessed by cyber criminals following a security breach at the company. Well, that's something we hear a lot of nowadays, Kaine.
Yeah, the hunt for data and information on people is just it's such a lucrative market at the moment. I mean, if you can figure out if you can go and let's say, Eon, you use Gmail. So if I can go and figure out what your password is for Gmail, what are the odds that you use that same password across other platforms as well?
Exactly.
That's just one use case of that.
That's very, very scary. Yeah, because the reason, of course, is hopefully you don't use those passwords we mentioned earlier in the program today. But the main thing is people use the same password across all these platforms because they forget, and they use something that's easy to remember, like a pet's name or whatever. And I understand you don't want to forget, but sadly, that's where that weakness is being used against you by these cyber criminals. But I see Rain CEO Willem Roos told My Broadband that only 10% of, around 10% of their customers have been affected, and they are investigating the breach, and no action was required from these customers. And then your Google Play Music library will be deleted. Well, that was yesterday. So if you had a Google Play Music library, sorry, it's all gone today. This includes your music library with any uploads, purchases, and anything you've added from Google Play Music, the company said. Yeah, interesting.
Wow, that's no good, eh? I mean, it just shows how much competition there is right now between Apple Music, Spotify, Deezer, and all these different music platforms. Google has even said, no, we're out. We're not doing that one.
Yeah, it said that after yesterday, so today, there unfortunately is no way to recover your data. You'll have to start all over again with your music collection. And they are, of course... That's impossible for me, and you'll have to. They're actually encouraging subscribers to switch to YouTube Music. So they're kind of forcing you, helping you along to Google, to YouTube Music. So rest in peace, Google Music, born in May 2011 and died this month, February 2021. So it lasted a whole 10 years.
Wow. You know what? I think at some point they decided, right, we're going to do this with Google Play Music and we're going to do this with YouTube Music, and YouTube Music worked and Google Play Music didn't. So, and they can still earn a lot of money from YouTube, I think. So they just like, if we can get 10% of the people that used Google Play Music to use YouTube Music, not only will there be a paying customer, because a lot of YouTube Music comes with like a YouTube Red subscription or whatever's available in your particular country. I know South Africa just came out with the YouTube Music one where you can literally play music on YouTube with your phone minimized. That is a subscribable product. You're more likely to purchase that which gives you the ability to turn off ads and minimize your phone while music plays on YouTube, something that has been known to be very difficult to do without such premium software.
Yeah.
That's a more financially lucrative avenue for them to take.
I just want to say, if you have the eRadio app on your phone, you can actually minimize it and it will carry on playing. I'm just putting it out there.
we get premium subscriptions for free at eRadio.
Yes, no premium subscriptions. You can minimize it. I know what it's like if you have music on YouTube and you want to minimize it and you can't, and then they're like, "Hello, please pay to minimize," and I'm like, "No." So yeah, that's very, very, very annoying. And then lastly, did you hear about Port Elizabeth's new name, Kaine?
No.
Okay, no, I'm not joking. I'm serious. From yesterday, Port Elizabeth is known... Okay, actually not yesterday, the day before. Port Elizabeth is now known as Bikiberga.
Bikiberga. Say it again?
Wait. I'm going to send it to you on WhatsApp right now as we speak. Open it up and see if you can deal with that. And while you
okay, I'm ready.
Did you get it?
Okay, now I've got it.
Okay.
It is pronounced yo. I'm gonna try this. So it's pronounced Berga.
Yes. Yes.
Like
yes. Well done. That's very, very close. That's not bad for a first try, Kaine. Yes, can you believe it? Port Elizabeth, the windy city, the bay, now known as Bikiberga. Yeah, so that GQE, that's what's throwing a lot of people. They don't realize that you don't say the G, Q, or E. It is a tongue click. So you go...
Can you imagine someone from USA just coming here and being like, "Yeah, no, I want to go to Klibeha." Like, yo, I don't know where this guy wants to go. But you should check him out.
Yes. Oh my gosh, I think that's hilarious. Yes. So you have to spell it, and even if you spell it out, then people won't know. But it's probably the same as with Pretoria, actually known as Tshwane. I don't know anybody saying Tshwane. They're still saying Pretoria to this day. So I think that's probably going to be the case with Port Elizabeth as well.
Yeah, no, I don't think that's how places work. I don't think you can just go change their name and people will catch on. If London were to become something else, I think it would still be London. If New York became something else, it would still be New York. Maybe to new generations that are educated. This place on this map over here, that's Klibeha. But you can't just change. I can't look at Port Elizabeth and not see Port Elizabeth.
Yeah, no, man, come on. And it's not like we don't have a lot of things on our plate already. I think we have more important matters. And do you know that it costs millions to change a place's name, because they have to redo all the signage and all that kind of stuff. So we don't have that money right now in this country. So why are you doing it right now in the middle of a pandemic? I just really don't know. But anyway, the reason why I brought that up is not only to put you on the spot with that pronunciation, which you completely aced. Well done. It is actually to let you know that that's a big annoying thing to people at the moment. And the other thing is that the SABC and the Department of Communications and Digital Technologies, they have got a plan now. They want to force DSTV subscribers to pay TV licenses. So that's going to be like part of your subscription. So you will have to now, because the SABC is featured on all the DSTV packages, you will now have to pay a TV license through the subscription as well. But now they're saying that is going to be highly damaging to South Africa's largest pay TV broadcaster, which is already getting hammered by streaming services. Could this be the final nail in the coffin, Kaine?
Yeah, no. We spoke about it last week, where DSTV decided in the midst of all the bad, they're going to do a price hike.
Yeah.
And now, also have to pay your TV license. it's such a knock, because for the first thing a person does when they hear they have to pay more is they say, well, how do I not pay more? And then they say, wait, Netflix is only 129 Rand a month and DSTV is 900 Rand a month. You're not sending people the right message by trying. TV licenses, in my opinion, you should just let them fall away completely and put a year or 2 years worth of the TV license, or even 3 years worth of the TV license, straight onto the price of the TV. Done deal. Move on, and we're done. Not hard. But now they want to do the stuff where they pay through DSTV. And I think it would work much better if I will pay extra for my TV, I don't mind, but don't come at me after 4 years and be like, look, you didn't pay your TV license, you now owe 4.5 billion. And I'm like, can't afford that.
And then the funny thing is, you can't buy a new TV then in a store because you have to pay that outstanding balance first. But I agree with TV broadcasting analyst and journalist Tinus Ferreira. He slammed the plan. And he's saying it's another example of the failure of our public broadcaster to do their own job, and now they're piggybacking on private companies. He said the SABC has been lazy and incompetent, and now they want to grab onto private companies who have kept up with the times to use their power to drag themselves out of their financial ruin. I totally agree with him.
Yeah, no, I couldn't agree more. It's almost disrespectful, and I use that term lightly, but it seems very disrespectful in the sense that it feels like they have one plan written on their blackboard, and they're just going to market with that one plan. They're not checking it, they're not validating it. They even before this, there was word that they were gonna piggyback on Netflix and Spotify, and they're like, oh no, now they're on to us. Now we'll just do DSTV and we'll see what the public says. At least come to the table with a feasible plan, because at the end of the day, I don't believe South Africa needs SABC as much as SABC needs South Africa.
No. Nobody's paying their TV licenses nowadays, so the SABC, they don't have enough money to make proper content. It's a vicious cycle, and you don't watch TV because of the bad content, and you don't pay your TV license, and that's how the cycle goes. So yes, that's going to be interesting. I mean, when the SABC is in trouble when they can their soapy See on the Lawn and reduce it to 3 episodes per week instead of 5 episodes a week. That's when gosh, things are bad.
Oh yeah, no, I definitely feel for the actors and the staff and the cameramen and all the people that put the hard work in, but it's just such a pity you're so poorly managed by the superiors that are supposed to be taking the risks and strategizing on your behalf in order for everyone to keep earning and things like that. And there's no real tangibility to a TV license even. I mean, if you have or you don't have a TV license, the only thing that happens to you is your inability to buy a new TV from a store. It doesn't stop you from buying a TV secondhand.
Exactly.
It doesn't stop you from going to your friend's watching TV. It doesn't even stop you from borrowing a TV from your girlfriend. You could get around it as easy as you get into your car and you drive across the street. If they're going to get that money and they're so reliant on that amount of money, offer a service to the end user so that he's incentivized to use that. I like to look at Instagram versus TikTok, for example. Okay? Instagram, look at something maybe even different. Look at Facebook, for example. Facebook and TikTok. On Facebook, you'll be going down your feed and you'll see, oh, look, here my friend wrote a post and they've posted my post. Now I can go and I can heart it, I can like it, I can smiley face it, I can surprise face it, I can do a bunch of different emotions to it. But all I'm really doing is telling the person that made the post, hey, I like your post, and telling the people that come across the post, hey, I like that post. You're not actually doing anything for you by liking that content. In some way, you might tell Facebook's page algorithm that you like this person's content, so let me see more of that person's content. That's okay. But when you look at something like TikTok's like button, when you like something on TikTok, you can find it again. You can't find anything that you find on TikTok.
Yeah.
If you come across something on TikTok, you can't just find it. It's gone. If you
It's
come
gone.
across it, you didn't save it. To provide a service to the end user, they've created the like button, which does save the video, and it saves it to your wall. So when someone likes a video, they're actually saving it to be watched later or consumed later, or they're showing the creator love for the content. But at the end of the day, they're getting a service. And I think SABC needs to think like that. They need to say, if we're going to charge a subscription-based thing like a TV license, what does the end user get? Or what can't the end user do if he doesn't pay for that TV license subscription? Because I don't think the fault is the TV license per se, as much as the collection of the TV license is so poor. It's easy for you to not be notified that you need to pay your TV license, and it's easier for them to put interest onto the amount that you owe for your TV license. But at the end of the day, if you don't pay it, you're not necessarily worse off. You know, they need to better that. They need to think how they're going to get that end user to say, hey, I want to pay for this in order to get that, or do this or do that. Because we can, maybe we turn around and say, look, if you got to support your country, you got to support that particular industry, that services that has been provided for us for free. We have to support it in any way that we can, and that's fair. You know, it's like paying tax. But at the end of the day, you got to stick with the times. You got to make it really easy for the consumer to pay for it. You got to give the consumer as much ability to pay as much as he can pay. Even, you know, I don't see any of that kind of initiative here. I just see, how can we quickly collect money, because it's not looking good. You know, it's like this very urgent panic mode collection method.
Yeah, and in the older days, they kind of used scare tactics to get you to pay your TV license. Remember when they said that the inspector could pitch up at any minute at your door and ask for your TV license? Do you remember? That would instill fear in us. He could come at any moment, you know. So you don't know when he's coming, you don't know what he's wearing, you don't know what he's driving. He could pop in at any second and ask you for your TV license. If you don't have one, they'll come with the handcuffs and arrest you and take you to jail without a TV.
Have you ever seen those people that serve you a subpoena? You know,
Yes.
they come and they're delivering pizza. Hi, are you Mr. This? And then you're like, yeah, and they're like, you've
been served. Yeah.
It should be like that, you know, but to be like,
You've been served, man. You've been served. And then just in closing, gosh, we're completely out of time, Kaine. But just in closing, Nico wrote something here, and he said, please read carefully when you book flight tickets to PE under its new name. You might select the wrong name and end up in Qatar. You might end up in the wrong location. Yes, I totally understand that.
No one's going to be able to spell that right off the bat.
No.
It has to be drop downs. Yeah.
Drop downs. That's it. But even then, Kaine, thank you so much. As always, it was great having you, and then we'll do it again next Thursday between 3 and 4. Look at all the week's biggest tech stories, and that's only here on eRadio. Hope you're going to have a super, super afternoon.
Thanks so much, Eon. You too. Thanks so much for having me. It's always a pleasure. Looking forward to next week.
Same here. Thanks, man.
Just bye.